Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, I am Amma Clothing. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you. So today we are going to be making this beautiful gown. This gown, I'm going to be showing how to cut and sew this trumpet sleeve. So we are starting with our sleeve length, our gown length. Our gown length is 36, but we are going to add 2 inches allowance for the sewing allowance. So we'll get the gown length first. That is me measuring it. So when you get the 36 plus 2, that is 38. So I'll be showing you how to fold your clothes into your fabric into two for you to know the exact measurement to do. You better forget the hip. If it's a fitted gown like this, the hip is the biggest measurement. You can see my hip here is 36. It's bigger than the waist and the bust. So you get the hip, add your allowance, so you know if this measurement is okay or not. So that's what I'm trying to do. I've checked my 2-inch allowance. I've noticed that the fabric, the way I fold it into 2, is okay. So I'm coming back to my shoulder. I've got to my shoulder. My shoulder is 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. I've checked. So I've got to my shoulder. That's the length of my gown. So right now, to get my shoulder to the armhole, shoulder to waist, and shoulder to hip, my shoulder is 7. So shoulder to the waist, that is the half length, I'm getting 15 for myself. That is me chalking 15. Depends on how big you are. For my measurement, 15 is okay for me. Some people can be 16, while some 18. That is shoulder to half length. But my shoulder to hip is 24. My shoulder to my armhole, where I will get my bust point from, is 7, because my bust is 34. So now I'm chalking my bust. My bust is 34 divided by 4. So I'm getting 8.5. We call it 8 or 8.5. So I've chalked the 8.5. Then I'm putting 2-inch allowance. So I've gotten my 8.5 plus 2-inch allowance, that is 10.5. So I'm going to my waist. Remember, I get from shoulder to my waist 15. So I'll go down to my waist now. My waist is 28. 28 divided by 4, that's 7. So I'm chalking 7 plus the 2-inch for seam allowance plus 1 inch for that. So that is measurement. Then I'm going back to my hip. My hip is 36. 36 divided by 4 is 9. I've chalked my 9. Then I'm going to my sewing allowance. That is 2. So 9 plus 2 is 11. So to get the knee, how do you get the knee? And this is a fitted gown, not a free gown. So I want the knee to be fitted. You are going to minus 4 from your hip to get knee. So our hip is 36. 36 minus 4 is 32. 32 into 4, that is 8. So I will get 8 for that down part plus 2 inch. Then I will chalk it just like the way I chalk all these ones. We are only putting the dart measurement, the dart seam allowance only at the waist. We are not putting it at the hip or bust or knee. So now I'm trying to trace everything together. I'm tracing it from my bust point to the waist, to the hip, and the knee. We want the knee to be fitted. That's why I minus 4 from the hip. Now what you get at the shoulder, I bring it down. I reduce my shoulders to 6.5. Then you get 1. Then you curve it. You curve your armhole. If you don't have a curve ruler, you can use a free arm. So this is our measurements. We have gotten our bust, our shoulder, our waist, hip, and knee. So this is measurements you need to get a fitted gown. This is a short fitted gown. Hope we can see it clearly. Now we are going to cut it out. I'm cutting from the shoulder, then to my armhole. This is the side. I've gotten to the waist. We are going down to the hip. Then down to the knee. So this is the front part. Let's cut the back part. You arrange the fabric into two again, just like the way you folded the first one. But this time around, we are adding zipper allowance. We're adding zipper allowance because this is not a smoky dress, so it needs zip. So adding zipper allowance to it. So arrange it like so, and make sure your zipper allowance is accurate. I'm getting 2 for my zipper allowance. You see me measuring it, making sure it's accurate, complete 2 inch. Okay, I'm trying to get all my points. That is the first one I got was my breast point, waist, and hip, because I'm going to do grading. I'm going to grade the back, the zip side. If you don't grade the back of your dress, it's going to have some puff out, like it's going to have some loop. But by the time you wear the clothes, the back will squeeze out, so we don't want that. I'm going to grade the back, and I'm going to show you how I grade. I'm going to grade the back now. If you want to grade the back now, you go to the waist side, not the armhole, the waist. Then you minus 1 inch from the zipper allowance. I hope you can see what I'm doing. You minus 1 inch from the zipper allowance. Then you connect it. You connect from the shoulder to the waist point where you mark 1 inch away. Our zipper allowance is 2, so we chalk out 1 inch away from the zipper allowance, and you connect the 1 inch. From the 1 inch, you connect it back to the hip, but the hip will be 2 inch. You can see the way I'm cutting it. The hip will be 2 inch. It will be exactly this. The zipper allowance at the hip side will be the same thing, but the one at the waist, 1 inch must be off it, so that it will grade. By the time you sew it, you will see the effects. After the cutting, you will see the effects. The up is the same, complete 2 inch. The down part is complete 2 inch. It's only the waist that you minus 1 away from, so it will snatch your waist. By the time you finish sewing it, there will be nothing like lumps. By the time you wear it, it won't puff out. So now I'm cutting out the back part of our fabric. Cut it down. Then you go back to the hip side and open it up, cut it off. So guys, we are through with the cutting for the gown. Let's move to the neck. This neck is a canoe neck. A canoe neck, normal neck, the normal length of the neck, normal width is usually 3, but this is a canoe neck, so it needs to be wider. And a canoe dress is not always low. It's just like a canoe form. It's just 3 inch depth. So I'm going to get 4 for the canoe neck instead of 3. I'm getting 4 because we're making a canoe neck. Then the width is 3, 4, 3. Make sure it's accurate. So I'll connect it back, just trying to make sure that it's correct. The length of the neck is 3, but the width is 4 because I'm cutting a canoe neck. If it was a normal neck, I'm going to make the width 3 also. Then the 1 inch I'm getting is for the back. I will cut it together first, then I will not get the front separate. This is how I'm doing it. I'm cutting the back, the down part, together with the front. So what I'm cutting now is for the back. So I've cut the back already. The other one I'm going to cut now, I'm not going to cut the back together. I'm going to cut only the front, so you can see. We have cut our front and back. Then from the shoulder, I'm just going to remove 1/2 inch, because as a lady your shoulder is not straight, so you have to remove 1/2 inch so it will slip down. So don't forget that 1/2 inch cutting for the shoulder. You can see. Now we are onto the sleeve. You fold your sleeve like so, the way I fold it, so as if you want to cut a flea. The sleeve length is 24, the one sleeve is 12. Now you are going to add 2 inch for the sleeve length, that is to make it 26. You can see I'm chalking my 26. This the measurement, that is the up part of it. From this point I'm going to get 26 and chalk it down. So make sure it's accurate. Make sure it's accurate. So I'm trying to get 26. I'm sorry, the 26. So I'm chalking from the up. I'm getting 4. That's where my curving is going to end. So from the up parts, I got 1 inch, because it's not a puff sleeve. I'm just getting 1 inch. Then my one sleeve is 12. That divided by 2 is 6. Then plus 2 inch sewing allowance, that is 8. So you stretch your table to get to that one, the place you mark your 1 point. So the measurement is 8. 8 divided by 2, 4. So you draw from that place to down. I'm going to upload a video on how to get sleeve, so you understand the sleeve parts very well. I know that up part is somewhat complicated. I'm going to upload a new video on how to cut sleeve, especially this kind of sleeve. Some people have issue mostly on this sleeve, so I will get a new video for this sleeve so that we understand it well. So after I get the curving, I'm going to cut it down, so you get a bare hand. Hope you can see what I'm doing. So I'm through with the cutting for the sleeve. Let's go ahead and put our lining. You remember when I was cutting the lining, the fabric for the front, our measurement was 36. Then we added 2 inch, that is 38. That 2 inch we added, we are going to fold it inside. You see me, I'm using my pin to fold it inside. So this time around, when we are cutting the lining, we won't cut the exact 36. We are going to fold this part, then we'll cut from this part that we fold. Hope you are getting me. The reason for it is that we want the down part of the cloth to be neat. We don't want any sewing, so it's called turn up. By the time you get your 2 inch, you use your pin to hold it down so it won't pop up or remove when you are cutting the lining. So you arrange the lining very well on the arrange the fabric on the lining well and cut the way I'm cutting. So this is me arranging it. You make sure the fabric is equal with the lining. Remember to fold that down part by 2 inch, so that by the time you sew finish, it will come back, it will give you your accurate measurement of 36. The 2 inch we added when cutting it, we are folding it off. Anything you add when cutting a gown like this, a gown that you don't want the lining to show, the sewing to show, maybe you want it neat as this, you make sure the 2 inch, you take it off. By doing so, you should pin it so that you won't be getting any disturbance when cutting it. Okay, we are going to cut. We're going to cut it now. Still arranging it, trying to make it perfect. Then this is the neck. We are cutting the lining. So I've cut out the lining. We'll cut the back also. So this is me sewing it. What I'm putting at the neck there is called hemi gum. I don't want to put any interfacing. So by the time I finish sewing this hemi gum around the neck, and I use my iron, I'll notch it first, and I'm going to use my iron to hold it down. It's going to be very perfect, smooth, because this hemi gum has gum front and back, so it's going to gum the lining together with the fabric. So I love using this hemi gum more than interfacing, and it does not require you to top stitch because it's a gum on its own. It's just going to balance well by the time you finish ironing it. I'm notching the neck, so I'll go ahead and sew the back. The same thing, the neck, the back of the neck. I think I'm sewing a gown like this, you start with the neck, please don't start with the down. The same thing I did on the front neck, that's what I'm also doing at this part. I'm not going to top stitch because I'm using this hemi gum. Anytime you want to make your finishing neat, please use hemi gum for your neck. You are going to love the outcome. So after sewing the neck, you sew the down. For a fitted gown like this, after sewing, no, sew the neck first, then after the neck, sew the down. I'm sewing the down now. This is the down of the dress. I'm using my lining to turn up my fabric. Arrange and continue sewing. Then sew the two sides. It's advisable to sew the neck first, the down, then the two sides. You don't start something like this, then you start sewing the down. No, it's not advisable. You sew the neck first, then the down, then sew the both sides. This means sewing the side of the gown. I'm still at the front part. Then this is where the effect of the turn up comes in. You'll notice that the line is shorter than the fabric. So this is how you are going to place it when sewing. So by the time you turn up, by the time you iron, it's going to come out very neat. The lining will be showing at the down part. This is the effect of the turn up we did. The 2-inch allowance is already inside the lining, inside the back part of the lining. So by the time you finish sewing, it's going to come out very neat. Now this is me sewing the last part for the front. Can see the way I'm sewing it. The way I sew the front is the same way I'm going to sew the back. After the neck, you sew the down, then after the down, you sew the both side. For your work to come out very neat. You see me arranging it. Arrange it well so that don't let the lining, when cutting, the line should not be bigger than the Ankara fabric or any fabric you're using. Make sure it's accurate and sew 1/2 inch. Reverse it. I've turned my clothes, I've ironed it, so I'm putting my darts now. I fixed my darts, and I'm going to upload another video on how to fix darts, because so I didn't really show video on darts and on the way I shocked my dart out. So I'm going to be uploading video on that, and also zip. So I'll show you how I fix my zip. So after fixing my darts and my zip, this is how it came out. You can see it's very neat and nice. So after this, we are going to join the shoulder, front and back together. Join the shoulder, shape the two. We'll shape the side with our measurements and fix the sleeve. So this is the result of our dress. You can see the gown is fitted with our trumpet sleeve. This is the end result. So please subscribe to our channel for more videos. Like and comment in the comment section. Thanks for watching.